without further ado, let's get into the questions this week. So question number one comes in here from Roberta. Hi there, Roberta. Thank you for being part of the amazing WiggyWam community and for submitting your question here. So Roberta says, I'm really struggling to find a new home to move into. Where we live has precious few properties on the market, and the last few years have seen prices go up so they're almost unaffordable. I'd love to find a nice project to do up, as my husband and I are quite hands-on, but we've been monitoring estate agents' windows and online for almost a year now, and we're coming up short. What would you do if you were in our situation? Is there a way to find a property that's not on the open market? And if so, how do we buy it? Okay, Roberta, well, thank you for the question. And I feel your frustration, if I'm honest, because we're in a not dissimilar position ourselves in terms of trying to find the right place to move into. And I really get the idea of doing a bit of a project. It's funny, you know, I was talking to just very quickly, I was talking to some friends at the weekend, and we were talking about when I climbed Kilimanjaro, and this is related to houses, I promise you, okay? But they said to me, would you do it again? And when I climbed Kilimanjaro, I literally almost nearly died, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do. And they said, would you do it again? And I said, well, do you know what? Actually, if you'd have asked me that after I'd come down the mountain, I would have said, over my dead body, would I actually do it again? But I knew at the time when I said that, you know, after 3 or 4 years had passed, I probably would be tempted to do it again, you know? And the reason I mention that is because, you know, the whole idea of doing a project really appeals until you're actually in there doing the project. And, you know, you've got building materials everywhere and you're eating dust sandwiches for a week and all that sort of thing. It can become quite frustrating, speaking from personal experience. And actually another friend of mine, bless him, who has taken on a big project that we guided him through to buy it, he was struggling to cope with the kind of sheer demands of being on site all the time and trying to run a business and all the rest of it. And because I've had to go through some revised planning applications, he shocked me by telling me that he's actually moved away from the site just for 6 months whilst they straighten a few things out with builders and planning applications and God knows what else. So it can be a bit of a challenge. But to get to the real crux of your question, Roberta, there's a load that you can do in terms of trying to flush out the right property for you. I've actually just been in the process of preparing a guide, which is like the ultimate guide to finding your dream home. But it uses in a lot of the techniques that we used to use as property investors to actually go out there into the marketplace and find a property, even if it's not on the open market. Okay, now some of the things that you want to consider is alternative areas where to go. And this is not to do any disservice to any estate agents, of course, but the reality is that there are precious few properties that can be available in certain areas, particularly the type that you're looking for. So you have to be more proactive in the hunt for that particular property. So you want to consider things like literally what we would call guerrilla marketing tactics, and that would be putting up notices in shop windows, news agents, supermarket notice boards, that sort of thing. It would also include leafleting, so leafleting a certain area. One of the ways I find that works really well here, Roberta, is to, when I say this, you have to be very careful that you don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. But one of the things I'm going to suggest you do is to offer to pay what we call a finder's fee. And that's not a brown paper envelope full of cash. That's not what we're talking about here at all. But it's actually to pay a genuine finder's fee to anybody who brings you or introduces you to a property like that you're looking for and that you end up actually buying. Okay. Now, this can be quite enticing for a lot of people if you're offering to pay £1,000, £1,500, £2,000 or more to somebody on the strength of you wanting to buy a home. And the temptation is for them to run off if they're particularly keen, and they say, well, actually, if I find this person the right property, they might bring you anything and everything that might not be in your criteria. So one of the best things you can do, Roberta, is to draw up what we call a hunting brief. Okay, a hunting brief is exactly what it sounds like. You're going hunting for your dream home, and you want to have a brief of exactly what it is that you're looking for. So it might be you list, 2 or 3 areas where you're particularly interested in living, the type of property that you want, whether it's a stone cottage, a new build, or probably wouldn't be a new build if you want a project, but you get what I'm saying, something that hasn't been lived in for a while, whether it's a probate sale, whether you want land with it or not. Those are the sort of brief details that you want to put on there, and anything else that's pertinent, like number of bedrooms, etc. And then you start to, as long as that's got your contact details on, obviously, so people can get in contact with you, and there's a little bit of a personal element there, like a photograph of you and your partner perhaps, then that is something that I would literally be putting into the hands of everybody who could potentially help me find a house. And so I would go to all the estate agents in your area with your hunting brief, give them a copy, and I would give them a copy every time you go in and see them, okay? Because your first copy probably goes in the bin. They might put you on the mailing list and then it will go in the bin. So next time you go and give them another copy, go and give a copy to your letting agents, okay? As well, people don't always go to a letting agent when they're thinking about buying, but it's an untapped source, if you like. Perhaps you might have a landlord who's thinking of selling one or two of his properties, or they may know somebody who knows somebody. Okay. The other thing you want to consider is adverts in the back of local papers. And if you start to look in some of the papers, you'll notice adverts where property investors will advertise the fact that they buy houses. Okay. And what I would do in your situation, Roberta, is speak to every one of them. Okay, ring them up and say, look, I'm not looking to sell my home. I'm actually looking to buy. You probably get a lot of calls or from people who want to sell their home, and sometimes you might get something that doesn't fit your criteria. This is what we're looking for. It's bum, 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 bum. Okay, and if you get anything like that, we'll happily pay you a finder's fee. What I've just said to you there, if you want to go back and watch this video a couple of times, is absolute gold and music to a property investor's ear, because if they know that they're going to get paid a finder's fee for a lead that is absolutely useless to them otherwise, then that may just help to open the door to the right property for you. Okay, so there's a couple of avenues there that I've given you can look at. There is a lot of sites online that you control beyond the main sort of three portals, as it were. There's a lot of niche sites as well that are out there, particularly for projects. You can also look at sites like eBay, for example. Might sound extreme, but there is properties listed on eBay. You might be shocked to find one or two properties on there. Gumtree, those sorts of sites. You want to be targeting these niche ones and looking anywhere and everywhere. So you're kind of throwing out a big net, if you like, to drag in as many leads as possible and bring those leads in to you as a potential buyer. One of the things I'm going to suggest you do, Roberta, as well, this might sound a bit extreme, but I say it with a lot of experience of putting these things out there into the world and getting some very strange inquiries back, or very strange phone calls or text messages or whatever it might be. So I'm going to suggest you get what we call a nutter phone. It's what we call it in the profession, but it is literally a pay-as-you-go cheapy phone with a SIM card, where you can use that number in all your advertisements. So for things like leaflets, if you're going out there leaflet dropping, put your nutter phone number on there. If you're doing it on your hunting brief, again, the same sort of thing, because you just don't know. And as I say, I've had some very, very strange messages that have come through where people have picked up my number for whatever reason, and yeah, it's a bit eye-opening, if I'm honest. So I don't really want to put you through that, but so give it a separate number so that after your house search is done, you can discard that, as it were. And the other thing that you'll realize is that once that phone rings, okay, it's likely to be a deal or a lead for a potential deal. Okay, so I hope that gives you some angles to work with, Roberta. I'll always recommend that you get a copy of Home Buyer Secrets as well. I have listed a number of different ways that you can find properties in there. In terms of the buying process, it's fairly straightforward. You're just both going to have to instruct solicitors to transfer the title over, and obviously go through getting your finance in place in the usual way. One of the things you might want to consider doing, Roberta, depending upon your budget and how appealing this is to you, if you want to move this forward quickly, I would always suggest, as part of your offer, that you offer to pay the seller's legal fees, okay, provided they use a solicitor of your choice. And the reason I suggest that is because we have solicitors that work with WiggyWam that will do this within 6 weeks. Okay, that is pretty much unheard of in the local marketplace right now. So if you want the deal done quickly, plug yourself into that system and we'll get the deal done quickly. It might cost you an extra 1,500 quid, but in the grand scheme of things, it's absolutely nothing. It's a complete no-brainer, and it's absolutely worth doing, because you'll put to the side so much stress and so much heartache, if you're going with solicitors that will unfortunately take 20, 24 weeks, whatever it is right now to get a deal through. So hope that helps, Roberta. We're always here for you, so let us know if we can do anything else to support you. Wishing you the best of luck. As I say, grab yourself a copy of Home Buyer Secrets. There's a lot more in-depth info in there. If you want a copy of my How to Find Your Dream Home Guide, as I say, I'm literally finishing that off right now. So if you want to be one of the first people to proofread that and let me know your feedback, then you'd be more than happy to have a copy of that. Just send me an email, happy to help at WiggyWam.co.uk, and then just put in the subject title Dream Home Guide. Okay, and I'll send you a copy. All right, Roberta, so best of luck, and let us know if we can do anything else to help. Fantastic. Okay, well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much indeed for all of your questions, and really appreciate your support in these webinars that we're doing and for the questions that we're putting out there online. Please do consider sharing these videos with your friends and social networks. The more people that we can reach, there's about 1 million people a year that need our help and support in the home moving journey, and it would be a pleasure to answer their pertinent property questions and to give them as much advice, help and support as we possibly can. So please do, as I say, consider subscribing to these videos, consider sharing them with your social network, getting it out there, help us reach more and more people. For those of you that want to send in your property questions to us, we're here every week doing this, so please send your questions in. You can send them in via email. Our email address is happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. That's happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. And send us your property questions, and you can also reach us via our website, which is wiggywam.co.uk. So that's wiggywam.co.uk. You can go online, set up your free profile on there, access some of the amazing resources we've already got on there, and that knowledge base is growing by the day. So well worth investing some time there, having a look round. You can also contact us via Twitter. Twitter handle is @WiggyWam_UK. So that's @WiggyWam_UK. And send your questions to us there, or share some social media stuff online with us as well. That would be amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your support. Thank you for joining the Property Revolution. Thank you for pledging your allegiance to what we're doing here with WiggyWam. And I look forward to welcoming you back same time, same place next week, and wish you all a great week, rest of the week ahead, and an amazing weekend as well. So thanks ever so much indeed. You take care. Good night. God bless.